another stream on the channel. As usual, let me know if you can see and hear me. I'm going to wait for this to pile up again. Lacking the intro screen nowadays, lads. We could really do with that, but I hope we're all well, and do let me know if everything is alright, and do say hi in chat. Stream on the channel. Let me quickly tweet that I'm live, and I'm going to increase my audio a small bit just to make sure we're loud and clear. Let me tweet that we're live, and do show face if you are in chat. Hope we're all excited for another deadline stream, because I am, even though it is another midweek one, which are always a small bit more awkward to do, of course. But yeah, I hope we're well, lads. Do pop in and say hi. Who we got in here? Let me see who we have. How do I zoom in on this? Oops. Okay. We got Daniel, we got One For All, we got Eamon. I hope we're well, lads. Do let me know if you can see and hear me. Hello, Paul. Good morning or good evening. Chris Bangkok. Hello. Judith. Hello, how are you? First question today. I have triple leads on my bench. Should I bench boost? Also, is Gabriel and Enzo playing? Hope this week is yours. Just quickly on Gabriel. Again, people are piling up. Actually, I'm going to wait and hold off on this question and say hello to everyone. I hope you're having a good evening. I just finished work myself at 4 o'clock. We got Reese Clay, William Doyle, bringing in some Irish love. Love that. Dan Thompson, all good. Asri, Keita, afternoon. Eugene says Davis. Darren Burke says can hear and see you, all good. Great to hear. Okay, hello everyone in chat. I hope you're having a good evening so far. We got Arul from Malaysia, of course. Okay, so let's move straight onto my team. Again, I don't want to bore you guys that are in here. Looking at my team for the game week, first thing and discussion point, let me quickly run through. Nick Pope on goal, 3 at the back, Joe Roden, Richards, Timber, 4 midfield, Eze, Kudus, Mo Salah with captaincy, Enzo, and 3 up top with Haaland, João Pedro, and Mark Guy starting up top for my own team. First off, just on Gabriel, because I know a lot of people own him and have questions. Of course, if I owned him, I would be playing him. That's the first thing. I would not worry at all about him getting minutes off the bench. I don't think that's a likely scenario. He either plays or he doesn't for me. If he has an issue, there's no doubt in my mind that Arteta will keep him on the bench. It's not worth risking a long-term injury for a big player like Gabriel. Again, that is my current thoughts on it though, and you might disagree with that. But as long as you have some bench cover, I'd definitely be holding on to him. Whether or not you think, I think he could start. I think there is definitely a chance, and the reason is, I don't think Arteta is exactly reliable in terms of, what quotes you're going to get from him. And just on Mark Guy, another player who a lot of people are looking towards. Do I think he's going to get 90 minutes? I think absolutely no chance, if you're asking me. But I'm not expecting 90 minutes, to be honest. I would be happy with, I would say 60 to 70. Screen is a bit blurred now. Let me know if there's an issue with the screen, lads. I'll probably move off Salah if he blanks, and probably to Saka. Yeah, so let me quickly talk on captaincy. Again, this will not be the first time this stream I talk about it. And by the way, good to see so many in here on a Friday evening. Usually the Friday evenings are a small bit more quiet. But it's great to see so many names that are familiar. Just on captaincy, lads. Again, let me ramble on for a bit before you get your questions in. I wanna answer all of them, and just like Sebastian says here, he says, "How are you feeling about Salah?" I went with Haaland, Salah, Saka draft. Need to see for how long I am patient, while we wait for the better fixtures. So let me tell you where I am on the main man, Mo Salah. First off, nice quotes from Arnie Slot. He says he has no doubt Salah will get back to scoring. So first off, that's a nice quote. If a manager wasn't going to play you this weekend, he probably would not be saying things like that. Secondly, where I am with captaincy this game week, I think Haaland for me is probably equally as good as Salah this week. Just on last game week, again, it didn't quite go my way. I, of course, went with Salah as captain last game week. We scored 55 points, which was definitely underwhelming for a wildcard. But for me, there was enough in that game for Salah, even though he hadn't returned. Liverpool are very poor in that first half. United done probably what you would expect them to do if you were expecting a win for United. Grinded out. In that second half, I felt like Liverpool had a lot of chances, particularly Cody Gakpo. And if he had put them away, the ones he hit the post, that would have been 2 Salah assists. And also, he had that big chance, if you want to call it a big chance, where the ball fell to him and he kind of volleyed it, he kind of scuffed it a small bit, but he easily could have passed it off to Florian Wirtz. The early sub, again, maybe I'm twisting things because I own him. But I think it works both ways. People who don't own him are going to spin a narrative one way. People who own him are going to see it their own way. He's just off the back of an international break, first off. And again, he is Egyptian. So, I'm not surprised he got an early sub. And to be honest, that midweek benching is ideal. For me, considering I'm captaining him away to Brentford. The reason being, it's unusual for Salah to be benched, but we've seen it already this season. Even when he was scoring before his form recently. But I feel like, he's 33 now. He is going to be benched in games, and we're coming into that really busy Christmas period. As he gets older, of course, he's not going to be able to play back-to-back 90s every single week, especially when you consider a turnaround from Wednesday, Saturday. So not much time for the Liverpool assets in general, and that's why the likes of a Cody Gakpo got subbed off on the 73rd minute. The likes of a Salah came on in the 76th. So I'm hopeful, and I do believe, I'd be very surprised to see Salah not get 85 plus minutes, and I really think this is a great fixture for Liverpool. I'm really trying to block out the noise as much as possible, because it is quite easy to look against Salah and change your opinions based on one singular game week. But again, I don't have any emotion tied up in Salah because this is my first game week of second game week of owning him. And a lot of people, not that they'd be resentful, because it's not how it works. He's an FPL asset, and I am watching the games as well. He's been really poor. But the reason I have him in my team in the first place was because I think the fixtures are great, especially in comparison to the other captain this game week, which is Haaland. And Villa are off the back of 5 wins in a row now. And this is, to be honest, Brentford is a great fixture, like I said, for Salah. And if I'm confident of him getting 85 plus minutes, and I also think that Liverpool are still a great attack in my mind, the likelihood is that I don't think Haaland is going to continue with these numbers for the foreseeable. Again, he might this particular game week, but to keep this up for another even 5 game weeks, he's going to be on 16 goals by not even the halfway mark, which I don't really see happen. Even Pep has said it that it's unlikely he continues this. He's going to blank eventually. But yeah, he still is a great captain, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people in chat will be going with the likes of a Haaland, and great captaincy shout. I don't think there's many other people you'd like to go to this game week, particularly when the likes of a João Pedro, who has the fixture on Haaland this week, has been really poor. And not many people own Mo Salah, so I feel like this is a great week for me to go against it. Again, I need to make this known. I'm not doing it to be different. To be honest, I wish that was the case. Wish that wasn't the case, that people thought that. It's just that I genuinely believe that there is an opportunity to go against captaincy this game week. And to be honest, I actually like the fact that people don't like the idea of Salah, because, again, when the fixtures are good for Liverpool, they're going to score goals. And, I'm going to pick the person who I think has the best minutes for that attack with penalties. So, again, that's my little rant on Salah. And I understand if it's not for you. You've gotten probably to the point of the season where you don't want Salah anyway, so you don't have to worry if I want to captain him, because it probably won't even change your rank that much. But for me, if the likes of a Salah has a really good game week this week and Haaland blanks, that's the difference of 20 potential points, and that brings me from 600k, which we're at now, which is still a great rank, by the way, even though it's not quite gone my way since game week 7-ish and wildcard. But 20 points would probably be the difference of 600k all the way to 200k. So, little things, if they can go my way this game week, and especially if in my mind they're not too big, I'm happy to take a risk. And also, if Gabriel doesn't play, I think more likely than not, people have Gabriel than Timber. He's way more owned. And if you don't have Timber, you probably have Raya. But this could be a great week for me if Gabriel doesn't play and captaincy decides to go my way. And also, I don't think it's ideal that I'm tripled up on Chelsea. It's not like I think Chelsea's attack is a formidable force. It's more so it's just landed in a way where Mark Geese is suddenly getting the minutes for Chelsea. And Sarr, who I do love as an asset, is playing as Arsenal. Now, there probably is a case of going with Sarr over a Mark Guy if you think Gabriel's going to be out. But I'm going to play the fixtures and be hopeful of Guy getting 60 plus minutes just before Liam Delap is back. Dean Kelly loves it. He says Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. So let's start answering some questions. Again, hello to everyone in chat. I hope you're having a good evening. Oiso Magic says, what's up, Choi? Sick and have college work here, but I'm here. Good shit, man. That is only about a year ago where I was in that boat as well, but very good. Cannot miss the deadlines and great to see it as usual. Luke says, Haaland won't blank though. That's the issue. If City win 2-1, Haaland will have them both. I mean, yeah, it looks like that. And let's pull up a Rob T graphic because it's good to contextualize things. There he is. Here are the expected points for the top 15 this game week. Again, I own Erling Haaland, Mo Salah. I also have Enzo, João Pedro. But very close this game week in particular. The markets are thinking that. Let me see if we can have a bit more on this. What will I pull up? Yeah, goal share. So let's take a look at this real quick and let me zoom in for you guys. Haaland expected 0.78 goals and a 54% chance of getting one or more. Whereas Mo Salah is down at 0.46. Just about the same as Calvert-Lewin, which is the headline of the week. Dominic Calvert-Lewin almost matching Mo Salah, which is crazy. Hello Sarvi, who is of course a channel member. He says, Anthony or Reinders to play. To be honest, I know Reinders doesn't look great, but I look at it as a rest for me. If I owned Reinders, this is how I would take it. So I would play Reinders this week, and yes, I would also play him over Sarr, Reese. But anyway, going back to the graph, Salah for a midfielder now, you need to consider this. If you look at all the players around him, they're all forwards: Ekitike, Calvert-Lewin, Gyökeres, João Pedro, and Haaland. So he of course gets the extra point for a clean sheet, extra points for a goal. So I quite fancy my chances this game week going a bit different with Mo Salah, and no one is going there. So I do like it. Let me get back to my own team. Hey Chai, how's it going? Says FPL Banner. Good to see you, man. Is Kuna a priority sell? Priority sell, I don't think so. I actually thought he was magnificent versus Liverpool. I always thought a big player like him had to play that game. Big ego. Amran has said it himself, and he always wants to be involved. You can see by the way he plays the game that he wants to be involved and he wants to get goals. Is he a priority sell? No. Brighton at home is a lovely fixture for Kuna. I do think Sesko has to get game time. He's been very good, I have to say. Is he a priority sell though? No, I wouldn't say so. Tig says, what's the thinking with Richards over Mukiele? Yeah, for me what it comes down to is, look, I don't exactly think that Arsenal are a formidable force going forward. Again, don't get me wrong, they've been quite good. I think particularly when you consider that game versus, what's it called? That game versus Atletico. But beating Fulham, of course. Why can't I see the scoreline? Oh, I love the FPL app. It's not glitchy at all. Bear with me, lads. 2 seconds. And I try to pull up these scores. Maybe I'm just blind or tired. Let me go back a game week. Yeah, so Arsenal beating Fulham 1-0. The week before that, beating West Ham 2-0. 2-1 against Newcastle, 1-1 against City. Like, don't get me wrong, they are a decent attack for sure, and this is a great fixture for them. But when I look at Chris Richards, who I feel like is almost guaranteed DEFCON, like almost without a doubt, in comparison to Mukiele, who's playing at fullback now, he's still great for DEFCON, don't get me wrong, but when you go to the bridge, it's a different story. And when I've particularly got triple Chelsea, it doesn't really make sense to play Mukiele. So not too much else to it, from my end anyway. Reinders or Dewsbury Hall? I would be tempted to play Reinders still, man. Reinders is a weird one, right? Because suddenly it looks like his minutes are going to be reduced. I've no doubt that they're going to be reduced, but I feel like with the injury to Nico, and also he's after getting a rest midweek and an early sub. We're just after finishing the international break. I really don't mind it. Will João Pedro play? Yeah, I feel like there's no world in which he doesn't. I'd be very surprised to see him not play. Dubravka or Verbergen? This is a tough one. I would definitely play Dubravka for me. I feel like United are definitely a decent attack. Thoughts on Anderson? I feel like I want to hold on to him for the time being. I feel like I'm more than happy to hold on to Anderson, and hopefully he's back by game week 10. Best defender 4.1 or under to replace Anderson on a bench boost. I already have Roden. First off, I wouldn't bench boost if I had Gabriel, I don't think. I would just play him and hope if he doesn't play, you get someone off the bench. But to answer your question, who's the best one for 4.1 million? I still want to say Mukiele, just not this game week. And for this game week, I would say Joe Roden. Start Roden or Senesi? I think I would be playing Senesi. Again, it is going to be close though. Yo, I have triple leads on my bench. Can I bench boost? Absolutely you can bench boost. I don't see why not. West Ham have looked really, really poor. Start Reinders or Marquis? I'm chasing the upside with Marquis, personally. Hoisha, would you do Foden to Gakpo and Reinders to Sarr next week? No, I don't think so. I would actually hold on to Foden this game week. I know he's not been returning because Haaland has been gobbling up all the goals, but I still feel like Foden is on decent form, if you know what I'm saying. Even though he's not really contributing. It's a tough one because it's how you gauge a player in fantasy football. A lot of people might look at fixtures. I look at fixtures. I look at a small bit of form. And at the end of the day, these are the things that will determine whether or not we want to bring in someone or hold on to him. So, for me, there's enough as long as Foden's getting the minutes. I feel like you will probably want to get rid of Foden sooner rather than later, when you consider the likes of a Shirky and Marmouche back. But I think this particular game week, it's fine. But that's just me. Thinking about Captain Bruno, what are your thoughts? I don't love it. I don't hate it. But it's okay. It is definitely okay. Eddie says, hey Chai, I have 0.2 million in the bank and 2 free transfers. Would you do Anderson and Porro to Enzo and Roden? That is really close, Eddie. I actually cannot give you an answer on that. It is really tight, that. I like it either way. I think Porro this week with Everton away is not a bad fixture, even though Spurs have been absolutely shite. Just on Spurs, before I continue with the questions. Look, Spurs have been really poor. All these shouts about Thomas Frank to be out, and of course these are always going to be conversations when Spurs are poor, but I'm not having it. Again, he's after coming in and he's only had a few games now. To put a stamp on Spurs, defensively he shored us up for sure. It's just we're really slacking going forward. We need to see a bit more from Xavi Simons, and we need to see one of Sarr or Bergville come into that midfield beside Paulinho. And we also need Colin Moani up top. We just need a small bit of system change. But yeah, we've been really poor. But from a defensive point of view in this particular game week with Everton away, if I had Kudus or Porro, I'd hold on to. David says, I was going to go with captain on Semenyo, but after watching Haaland's YouTube video, I have to go with him. He's the GOAT. Yeah, no, Haaland's definitely a great captaincy shout this week, DVD. Semenyo's not bad this week, but with the new manager and the new manager bounce, and the big win for them in Europe, I don't like it personally on Semenyo. Anish says, should I punt on... Sorry, let me bring the chat down so I'm not constantly looking up. Should I punt on... Where is Anish's question? Dubravka over Rhea. I don't like that, Anish, at all, personally. I think I just fancy playing the clean sheet odds. More likely than not, Arsenal will get a clean sheet. Surely Ekitike is good for the Brentford game. Yeah, no, Ekitike is an absolute animal. He's one I talked about in my transfer plans video. And I really like the look of him. I think he's like everything you want in an FPL asset. Greedy. As soon as he gets the ball, the first thing he wants to do is run at the goal and shoot. So I definitely like him as an option, lads. But it's just whether or not you can get to him. Do you know, if you have an Ekitike, the likelihood is you also have a Pedro and Haaland, which means your defense or your midfield might be a bit thin. Arsenal have scored 2+ goals in 9 of their last 10 meetings in the Premier League versus Crystal Palace. Yeah, that's a very interesting stat. What I would say about that is, though, Ollie Glasner is now in. And I know he's been in, but, Crystal Palace are at a different point. This is the best we've seen Crystal Palace, and it's also the best defensively we've seen Arsenal. So, very good stat, and it's interesting. It's definitely compelling, but whether or not that would determine this particular game week, I'm unsure. When are you planning to bench boost? If Mark Gee had another week and Anderson didn't get injured, I would have been tempted to do it sooner rather than later. I'll be honest. And thank you for subscribing, Juan. I do appreciate it. By the way, do hit the like button and subscribe if you aren't already, lads. 120 of you in here. Do get your comments in. I'm going to try answer as many as possible. And do be patient with me. I'm sorry if I can't get back to all of them. Abdul says, start one of Juve, Xhaka or Sarr. I would start Juve. How do you see Chelsea setting up with Enzo, Pedro and Guy all in the same team? Well, I want to say Pedro in the 10, Enzo behind Pedro, and Guy up top. Volamade or João Pedro? I mean, if you're asking me right now if I could choose one, I'm still going to say Pedro, even though the fixtures are not looking good. Volamade is looking on some serious form, but I feel like there's something in these games for Pedro, even though he's been terrible. Spurs have been good for away games. Yeah, it's weird one for all, how we've been good for away games. Hello, Praneeth, how are you? I hope you're good. Krupi Jr. or Anthony to start? I would start Krupi. Better attack. Sean says, hey Fran, are you on bench boost this game week? I'm considering bench boost and tempted to transfer out Reinders and Bowen for Guy and Enzo, but is it knee-jerk after wildcard? It is definitely knee-jerk after wildcard. And I don't love it, Sean. Is Saka a good captaincy option? He's definitely not a bad one. Do I fancy him over a Salah or a Haaland? No. But is he good? For sure. Thank you for subscribing, Azri. Appreciate it. Eddie Casey, would you bring in Voltamade for João Pedro or Gyökeres? I would not bring in Voltamade for either of those. Again, this particular game week, I wouldn't do it. Which two would you bench from Daniel Munoz, Sarr, Goodmanson, Virgil, and Paqueta? Good question. I feel like I'll be inclined to bench Sarr and Goodmanson. Play Paqueta, Munoz, and Virgil. Do you reckon Tosin starts? Chelsea defence is just an uncertainty if it's not Trevor Chalobah for me. I'm unsure. Oscar says, another week, another disappointment. Let's go. Yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm quite hopeful of my team. I much prefer my team this game week than last. Again, hoping that the likes of Eze can just get better minutes this week, and hoping the same with Marquis. I have Guardiola I'm looking to get rid of. I already have triple Arsenal. Suggest me some options. Daniel Munoz, again, not ideal this game week, but he's the one I would want after this game week. My parents are in New Zealand, where it's 4 a.m. tomorrow, and they just let me know Sean Longstaff scored against West Ham. Just thought I'd let everyone know. Well, there you go, lads. You've heard it here first from Kieran. Okay, let's do a little scroll on Twitter. Again, I don't think we're going to get anything before the deadline, but let's have a little scroll anyway. Hello, Liam. It is good to be back. Friday deadline, which is not ideal. Alright, let's see if we can get anything. Gabriel yellow flagged. Yeah, I think Gabriel is the one player that, like, again, from a selfish perspective. Hello, Gavin. How are you? Like, I don't own him, and he's probably my biggest rank threat. I have João Pedro. Gabriel always seems like the one who's hurting my rank since he's returning nearly every single game week. So, again, I'd never wish an injury upon a player, but I hope he's not going to play this game, lads. Watch him play and score. And but yeah, I mean, it just happened to work out in my favour. Again, it's not certain that he's going to be out, but it looks like there is a chance, and a decent chance at that. Spacine, hello Spacine, how are you? Start Sarm or Munoz, have Gabriel and Timber as well. I would be starting Minoz in that case, Spacine. I think I'd be more than happy to play Minoz, hoping that he can get Defcon.
Evening chai. Heading to Tottenham v Chelsea next week. So see you in the next. Current rank 674,116. Coys.
Thank you, Derek O'Reilly, who's always in here. One of our biggest, one of our most consistent viewers. You're absolute legend, Derek, as always. And come on, you Spurs. Best look at the game next week, Derek. It should be an exciting one. You feel like going into this game, Spurs might actually have a chance to win. Reason being, no Cole Palmer, of course. Now, Chelsea always have a good record against Spurs, but at our stadium, we think we have a better chance. And you're also having an amazing season, 674k, which at this point I would consider very, very good. And also, I was actually supposed to go to that game. I was planning on going, but unfortunately, I couldn't make the time to do it. But thank you so much, Derek, for the super chat. We appreciate you here as usual. And you're too kind to send me money for coffee. You're the best, man. Means a lot. And also, just to let you know, guys, I have my graduation next Saturday, so we will be streaming as usual, but something to look forward to. I actually went in today to get my suit fitted. I went for an all black suit. It looks quite snazzy. I'm excited. But yeah, thank you again, Derek. So good. Yeah, Frank does do better against the Big Six teams. There are a few managers who are particularly good against the Big Six teams, and for me, that is Thomas Frank. Always been good against the Big Six. That's Unai Emery, for me, always causing those managers headaches, and that's why particularly this game week I think it looks quite good. ISO Magic says, my biggest fear next game week is not having Saka or Gabriel, but have Saka and Timber. Yeah, for me it's just Gabriel. It's quite tough. Congrats on the graduation, says Reese. Thank you, Reese. What did you study? I studied computer science for 4 years. Gavin says, congratulations. Thank you, Gavin. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think most of content creators are keeping Salah in their team. At least I know I'm not alone keeping Salah in mine. Yeah, I feel, lads, what you need to remember is, like, the reason people are not talking about Salah is because he's been poor. And, you know, lads, what is this website? Why? I don't want to do that. And rightfully so. He's been really poor. But he's been getting the minutes still, even though he's got an early sub. But the fixtures turn his way, lads. Brentford away, even in 10, you could look at a home fixture against Villa is a different story. Forest in 12, and 13, where he plays West Ham. 14, which is Sunderland at home, in comparison to Haaland, who has away to Villa, Bournemouth at home, and Liverpool at home. Again, Salah, of course, plays him in 12, or is it 12? In 11 as well. So take your pick there. But I feel like Salah could be an amazing differential, lads. I know he's been disappointing. There's no doubt about that, but I feel like there's definitely some upside. All right, let's do another little scroll on the timeline, lads. Let's see what's going on. Again, I don't think we're going to get any leaks before the deadline, but we'll keep an eye on just in case. Are you not worried about how good Liverpool looked in the Champions League? No, not at all. I mean, I expected to win that game, or Liverpool to win that game, whether or not Salah played or not. I mean, when you play Isaac, Verts, Ekitike, Gakpo, you know, I don't think Liverpool are exactly relying on Salah anyway. What that says for me is if this Liverpool attack can start scoring goals, you put Salah in it, all he's missing is confidence. If they start clicking, lads, you're going to start seeing goals. Start one of Sir Xhaka Richards. Got double Arsenal fence. Congrats on graduation. Thank you, Sudindra, if that's how you say your name. Who would I start out with those three? I would probably play either Xhaka or Richards, hoping for DEFCON. He was really bad against Frankfurt as well. Unfortunately, got abused from Liverpool fans. Yeah, I seen it, Spacine. But for me, it doesn't really worry me. Do you know, Mo Salah's one of those players where we know he has that class. Not often do we see a player like him struggle with confidence. And I know this time in the last 5 or 6 seasons, it's one of the worst we've seen him, but I feel like he can definitely turn it around. Foden and Reinders to Gakpo and Enzo, says Crisis. I mean, I do like the moves, lads. I do like moving on the City guys for sure. What I would say to that is I'll be looking at the City guys come game week 12, if I'm being honest. Is it 12? Where they have... or maybe it's 13. Yeah, game week 13, sorry. Like, I'll be looking to get back on the City guys because with those fixtures, the likes of a Reinders is great value. I would make those moves to the Liverpool guys for sure. Cucurella or Reece James? I mean, Cucurella... it's hard to answer that question because Reece James has look back to his best. It's tough. I'm gonna say Reece James. Will you go with Bruno or Gakpo? If I had unlimited money, I would go Bruno. I still think Bruno is a great asset, particularly when, I think Bruno is actually really underrated. I know we often talk about, it's the analytic guys who rant and rave about Bruno, but I actually couldn't disagree with that more because, I not exactly stood firmly on analytics when I choose my players, but, he hit the bar versus Leeds, and keeper also made a great save. He's after hitting DEFCON with 11 DEFCON twice, which also would have been the difference of some bonus points. And he missed 2 penalties, which when you consider, he gets 5 points for a penalty and 3 bonus likely if he scores. So that's the difference in 8 points in 2 games, 16. I know it's if, buts, or maybes. And if your nan had wheels, she'd be a tricycle. But again, these are little margins here we're working with, and United are a great attack. Last year, Slot unlocked Salah, positioning him in 1v1 situations. This year, way deeper, receiving, needing to beat 2+, which ain't his specialty until that changes. Is Gakpo, Ekitike before Mo. Yeah, Kieran, I would say I would almost agree with that. I just think things change quickly. We're only after seeing 8 game weeks so far. From my perspective, I brought in Mo Salah for 1 game week so far because I wildcarded last week. And what we've seen with Liverpool is that exactly. I can't say you're wrong there. But I think because Salah's getting older, I'm not too displeased that he has more defenders in front of him. What I want is that he's getting chances and he's providing for his teammates. Versus United, that's what I saw. Almost 2 assists for Cody Gakpo. And also in one really good big chance that if he just had a small bit more composure and maybe if his confidence was there, he'd normally convert. So, sure, I get what you're saying, but more often than not, we talk about how Salah is a touchline winner and then suddenly he returns. So, would you still bench boost with the Gabriel news? I would not. Yeah, I know it is hard with Arteta because you never know, but I wouldn't risk it anyway. I would be more annoyed if I bench boost with 14 players than risking it, if you know what I mean. And also, I don't think this week in particular is great for a bench boost because, the likes of Crystal Palace assets, which assuming you have one, they play Arsenal. If you have, a Mukiele, they play Chelsea away, so it probably isn't ideal anyway. FK says, Bowen to Bruno for a -4. No, I wouldn't do it for a -4. Sundal says, Reinders is going out for who? Gakpo, Enzo, Ndiaye. I like all 3, I will say. If I could choose, I probably would go Gakpo. Again, I've owned Gakpo for 6 game weeks, so I know what it's like to own him. And he's pretty good. It's interesting that he didn't get talked about in the first 6 game weeks. I think the reason was because the likes of Ekitike and Alexander Isak emerged, but now it's a different story with Isak potentially being out for a while. Start 1 of Van de Ven, Esteve or Richards. I'll definitely be playing Van de Ven. Again, we're targeting the fixture here. Again, he's not formidable at DEFCON, but it's a decent fixture. Will you still hold on to Salah if he blanks this game week? Yeah, Abalash. So, when I wildcarded him in game week 8 and I decided to put the armband on him, I said on stream, regardless of the outcome of this game where he plays against United, the reason I've brought him in is because he's getting the minutes and he has the better fixtures. As long as his minutes do not change drastically, when I say drastically, if he starts getting a 75th minute sub, or he doesn't start, that's when I'll be having the conversation of no Salah, because at that point for 14.4 million it is not justified. But if he gets 85 minutes, I'm all for it. And if he gets a goal, I mean, I think I'll be there on captaincy next week with Villa at home. So it's not going to be the outcome that determines whether or not I'm going to hold on to him. It's whether or not I'm seeing enough from him, because I do think it's a great opportunity to get him. How's it going, Chewy FPL? Good to see you, my man. Gabriel News has put all my plans of bench boost in the bin. Yeah, I do get it, and it would also have mine in the bin. I agree. In this tough, Sanchez or the Dubravka. I would play Sanchez personally. Should I still get Gabriel for a wildcard? I mean, the answer is yes, because Gabriel, when he's fit, is the best Arsenal defender. But what I would say to that is there opportunity elsewhere with the likes of Ajuri and Timber, which I would definitely be going with if I was on wildcard. And maybe even a Calafiori. I mean, I watched him last week versus Fulham, and he could have scored two goals easily. No worries, FK. We're half an hour in, lads, and 130 are in here. Do hit the like button and subscribe if you aren't already, lads. Great to have you here on a Friday afternoon. Is it Richarlison to Enzo and Gyökeres? Yeah, I probably would be inclined to do that. Saying that, I don't love Victor Gyökeres. You know, I would much prefer to try stretch to an Eze. Or, sorry, a Saka. Again, Richarlison is indeed a sell, though. Salah captain bandwagon. I took the same punt on 562. Let's see how it goes. You're on 562 points. Let me know in chat, lads, where your current, what your current rank is. I'm currently on 633,000. Put it in chat. Spam it in chat. I'm curious. Let's see how well chat is doing. I'm going to put it in now just to get the ball rolling with it. But let me know. Put your number in chat and let me know if you're happy with how the season has gone. How do you determine if you're happy with your season? Is it whether or not the moves you're making are good, or is it the outcome in rank? What are your thoughts on Bowen? Definitely still a decent option. Not ideal. Kieran, I know you're having a blinder of a season at 43k. Adam at 9k, that's ridiculous. Daniel 1 million. Ian 150k. Davis is 104k. Judge is 80k. Let me quickly pull up chat so you can see everyone here. 26k says Supreme Leader. Chewy 1.5 million. Chewy 1.5 million is not a bad rank at all. I actually wouldn't be displeased at this point in the season. One for all is 1.3. I guess it just shows how ambitious we are and how we compare ourselves. But I think it's a matter of what chips have you used, how is your team set up. I would not be worrying only 8 game weeks about if I was in the 1 million category. If you're less than 2 million, then I'd be like, okay, it's a small bit disappointing. But it doesn't mean you can't pull it back. And also, William Doyle, 192k. Dream Brother at 11k. Semenyo Connoisseur, a nice one. And Nicholas at 30. John Ross says 900k. And Prowl at 6k. Great ranks in here, lads. And much better than myself. I mean, I'm pushing. I feel like this could be a big game week for myself. Liam says he's at 2.6. And we'll have to chase you down again. Rank a bit low, but that'll get better. Because you have a lot of chips left. Exactly. So, like, you know, a chip, if it goes your way, is easily the difference of 20-ish points, like. So, let's see. Like you said, Choi, super tight. Last 2 weeks, I went from 1 million to 43k with no chips. There you go. Exactly what Kieran said, like. So, things can change really quickly. And I think, particularly from myself, if this game week Salah goes well for me and Haaland blanks, I know I'm asking for a bit if you consider Salah a poor asset, but in my eyes, I feel like there's a good opportunity here. And it could easily bring me and half my rank. Most content creators are around 1 million. Exactly, Judge. They are indeed. 1.5 is decent so far. All you need is a bit of jam, absolutely. Owen is at 590k. Would you start Reinders over Kudus? I would not. And the reason for that is the talismanic figure of Mohamed Kudus and the minutes. I still expect him to get 85 plus minutes in this game versus Everton. In comparison to Reinders, I probably have him at around 70-ish minutes. And of course, less prolific. Hey Chai, any tips? I've just won free transfer. Mark, it is quite hard to read all that and make an opinion on it, so sorry. I went with Haaland from day one and no Salah, as did I. 9k rank. Came 280k last year. That is unreal, Adam. Fair play. Chewy says, do you reckon using 4 free transfers to bring in Saka and Enzo is overkill? Would mean to downgrade Tarkovsky and Richie to Keane and Creepy Jr. To be honest, Chewy, I think those are great transfers, to be honest. I mean, Saka looks amazing. So does Enzo. Overkill, I'm unsure. Again, if you consider Richarlison mightn't start. I definitely like those moves. Spacina's at 112k. My team is 7 Defcon merchants. Unfortunately, own Guardiol. Yeah, Guardiol's probably not ideal, but still definitely a decent option. Salah is good, but just 7 million overpriced. I don't know. I wouldn't be judging Salah just yet. I still think it's too early. I think if you come maybe 4 or 5 game weeks, even when the fixtures get good for Salah, I would say fair enough. But I still think for a player of his stature and how good we know he can be, I think it takes 1 game week. 1 goal from Salah and suddenly he's on a 5-pointer. Let's say he gets a clean sheet and 3 bonus. How many points is that? Am I tweaking? 5 points, 10 captaincy, 2 for playing, 12. Lads, I actually can't calculate. I've had a long day. Work has been long. 3, 6, 60. Lads, I actually can't calculate the points for Salah getting a clean sheet and a goal. I'm actually not even going to try. Cool. This is embarrassing. Sesko to Thiago. I mean, Thiago's been good. Thiago has been good. Would I do it though? Probably. Again, it is interesting that you're looking to bring in Thiago though. I mean, surely you have someone else on the bench you could play. I don't really like downgrading Tarkovsky. I mean, I don't love downgrading Tarkovsky now either, but he's really expensive in comparison to what we have. Nathan says, great stream as usual. Only got 1 transfer. Would you do Porro to Timber? This game week I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I feel like this is a good fixture for Porro. Again, Spurs have been terrible, I know. I think I prefer Paqueta to Enzo though, with how bad West Ham have been. Alex Price, how you going? Yeah, 1 jammy pen is all you need. Which Kelleher saves. Yeah, imagine the scenes. Why Guy over Sarr? I feel like Mark Guy could start. In comparison to Sarr, you know, of an Arsenal defender. And also, you know, Arsenal formidable defence for sure. Saka over Haaland as captain. Yeah, that I don't love as much as Salah, but it's definitely really nice all the same. Would I do it though? If I had Saka and Haaland, I would still captain Haaland. Is Marquis worth a transfer in? I don't think so. I would prefer Krupi, I think. Would you triple captain Haaland after Villa lost to go ahead Eagles? No, I would not. I don't think so. Mo says, do you think Pat Matar will start? Although, also, what are your thoughts on Salah? And congrats on the graduation. Thank you, Mo. Do I think Pat Matar will start? I mean, I as a fan need him to start. I love Sarr. He's one of my favourite players. And I can't believe Frank is not giving him more game time. To answer your question, do I think he's starting? It's hard to say with Bergville there. So I think it's more likely he doesn't start. Do I want him to start? Yes. What my thoughts on Salah? I think the fixtures are there for him and I'm happy to go against the grain. I feel like it's a great fixture for him. Just need a bit of luck and 1 goal might change his confidence and it might do him a world of good. And as long as he's getting the minutes, I'm happy. Congrats on the graduation, by the way. Yeah, anyone want to see my suit? I got it in today. Let me see if I can quickly pull it up. And I'm sorry if you don't care, but let's see if I can pull up a picture of my suit to see what you guys think. Let me save this as suit. Can I pull this up? Let me know what you think of this. And what I'm going for is the Neymar look. This is what Neymar wore to the Ballon d'Or ceremony, I believe. Sorry, let me just zoom in on that. For anyone that doesn't know, Neymar was my favourite player growing up, and I wanted to be Neymar. I was getting his haircuts. I was getting jerseys. At the time, I didn't know you had to get print on the back to get a number and a name on the back. So what I done is I had a Brazil jersey and I got a black Sharpie and wrote Neymar Junior 10 on the back. But yeah, let me quickly. Sorry, I know I'm getting sidetracked from FPL, but let me quickly bring up my suit to see what you guys think. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Why is that so large? That's what we're going for, guys, for the graduation. Not a great picture, but I got it fitted today. Let me know what you think. Am I looking goofy as hell, or can I run it? What do you think, guys? I think I can run it, lads. I'm going for the all black, even though ideally I don't think it is graduation attire, but I think it looks great. I'm intrigued to see what you guys think, though. Love that. Yeah. Sorry, let me just quickly switch back to the FPL stream and turn off the suit. But looking sharp, thank you, thank you. Is that Neymar in disguise? Choymar, too cold, clean, fresh. Nah, you got that down, bro. Thank you, Joven. All black is clean for sure. Levy likes it. Choymar Jr. Spam Choymar in chat. That is brilliant. Yeah, but I do like the all black. I was thinking what I could wear, and you know, I've got the jet black hair. I always feel like black suits me a small bit better. Anyway, let me get back to the stream. Thank you all for the compliments. I mean, trying my best here. But where were we? Let's do a little scroll on Twitter because I don't want to lose anything. Chaimar Jr. That is brilliant, lads. But yeah, one of my favourite players of all time, by the way. And to be honest, in my eyes, underrated. I feel like if Neymar and Messi didn't exist, he'd have a Ballon d'Or in his under his belt for sure. I mean, I think we forget how good Neymar was, and unfortunately, when he was at his peak, I was still quite young, so I didn't get to watch him as much as I probably should have. But always loved Neymar, and I don't know what it was for me. I think it was the flair and the techiness of him. You know, he's good on the eye. Like, I mean, I think anyone would tell you that. Anyone who's an enjoyer of football. Anyway, it doesn't look like we're going to get anything on the timeline, lads. Hopefully, Chaimar can return with Salah captaincy locked in. So Trico says, would you start Esteve or Pedro Porro? In no world would I be starting Esteve over Pedro Porro. Should you triple captain Saka? I mean, I'm not going to tell you to not do it because it's not my style, but I don't fancy it personally. It's not to say you can't do well. Great suit, Chai. Congrats on the graduation. Thank you. It's next Friday. Neymar was more consistent than Ronaldinho as well. Yeah, that's a conversation that people don't like to have. Rory says, looking fresh, Chai. Is Captain Saka over Haaland crazy? Not crazy because he plays at home, and I do think this is a tight fixture for Haaland. I'm not going to tell you it's crazy at all. And exactly, there is a lot of upside to doing it, and it's exactly why I'm going with Salah. I mean, I think Haaland will be 195 VO this game week. So yeah, there's definitely opportunity there. I played Mukiele last week because of you, Choi. No worries, Elliot, but don't thank me. You had the final say at the end of the day. I just gave you what I thought. I never want to take credit for when you make the decision. You know, as much as I can tell you to do something, you're in control and you're clicking the buttons. So never give me credit. And more often than not, like, I mean, these are 50-50 calls and they're not always going to swing my way. You know, I'll always hear the ones that go my way, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are not tuning in the following week because I've let them down. Start one of Sar, Diouf or Joe Rodon. I would be playing Rodon, I think. Again, it really comes down to who you fancy in this game with Leeds and West Ham. But I would be going Rodon. Is DCL worth it? I think he's good value. Is he going to score a goal every week? No. Is he good this week? Yes. Mo says, I'm curious, Shy, on why you don't own Semenyo. He's even a decent differential captain this game week. Yeah, so this was a big talking point on my wildcard in game week 8. And like I said, it was nothing to do with Antoine Semenyo. I think he's been a phenomenal player so far this season. I just felt like the fixtures turned for Bournemouth in game week 8. Raptor tweeted Saka and Gabriel not in training. Thank you, Liam. Let me quickly see if I can pull this up. This can't be true. Saka and Gabriel not pictured in training. Let me quickly put this in chat. Just to the guys that are watching. And Liam, thank you so much for putting that in. Again, this is why I'm trying to stay as active on the timeline as possible. But that is massive news, lads. That is huge. Two things. For those who went Saka over Salah on wildcard. Again, just because they're not in training doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to play. But what it does mean is that if it goes my way and Saka and Gabriel don't play, they are by far my two biggest rank threats. Now, I know it seems like Saka isn't necessarily as highly owned as it may seem. But in the engaged managers and the people that I compare myself to, I see a lot of them with Saka. So, I mean, this is why you wait as late as possible after international break and midweek games to make the transfers. And this is, to be honest, making me even more confident on going against the grain with Salah. Like, this is how I look at it, lads. Let's say this game week, what could have went wrong for me? What could have went wrong, worst case scenario, is Salah blanks with my own team. Haaland absolutely bangs. Gabriel scores a header. And Saka scores or returns. But now, no Saka, so there's no well, okay, it's not guaranteed, but let's just say no Saka, no Gabriel. It leaves me with just the decision of Salah and Haaland, which I'm more than happy to go against due to how I see Salah in my eyes. So that's brilliant news. I mean, what is going on? Why are things going my way? I knew I wasn't, again, it's not confirmed in a sense where they can be not in training and they could easily play on the weekend, but I mean, as things go, I mean, I'm quite happy as a non-owner with that. And by the way, I do apologise if you think I'm hoping for downfall in anyone that owns Saka or Gabriel, but it's never the case. I just mean, obviously I have to look at it in my lens. Unfortunate for all owners, of course. Liam says he's not looking too much into it. It's nothing with Saka. Think it's nothing with Saka, and we'll start Gabby and Sarah on the bench. You know, that's fair enough, Liam. I can get that. Saka always seems to be putting cotton wool anyway. Hoichai Mukiele for Richards. I would be playing Richards because I feel like he's guaranteed DEFCON. And Stamford Bridge for me is always one of the toughest places you can possibly go. I think particularly because I'm a Spurs fan. Spurs' record at Stamford Bridge is absolutely terrible. Tiny Fungus is currently on Semenyo captain. Brilliant Tiny Fungus. I love that. If you're asking me though, with Sean Dyche, I don't love it. Brokey says, hi Chai, who would you choose between Joe Rodon and Gahey as a defender? Please, and why? For this game week, I would play Rodon without a doubt. West Ham looked absolutely useless versus Brentford. I watched the game. Leeds have looked quite good defensively, I want to say. Mark Gahey plays against a good Arsenal side. So I think long term Gahey, short term this particular game week Rodon. Lenny, I don't know if you saw, but Saka was not pictured in training. Make it out as you will. I can't tell you he's not going to play, but I definitely would be cautious. Maybe I was wrong about Arteta. Maybe he is up with his old tricks. No Gabriel and Saka in training for it. Was trying to throw Glasner off. Yeah, I wouldn't read into it too much because of how much we know Arteta can do that. Why no Newcastle players? Again, nothing against the Newcastle players. It's just it's more so I feel like there's a lot of value in going with some of the better attacks. When I say better attacks, I mean the fixtures are better for Chelsea, who are a great attack. Same with having a piece of that Liverpool attack at City. And the other option would have been Gordon, which I can do. It's just maybe not yet. I think later down the line. Let me quickly pull up FPL team before I forget. Let's go on to FPL team, right? And what we'll do is we'll have a look at some of my later transfers. So if we look at my game week 10 team, providing we roll this game week. A very good team next week, might I add. Oh man, I keep clicking the wrong button. But here's my team for game week 10. And I would probably play Mukiele this particular game week and drop one of João Pedro or Enzo because I feel like the DEFCON possibility is quite good. And who knows, maybe I'll be trying to start Anderson. But this would have been a week where if Guy was guaranteed minutes, I might have bench boosted. Again, it's up in the air between who to play, Pedro or Enzo. Maybe Enzo. But I think that's a good team for game week 10. I have 2 free transfers. Game week 11, I could also roll. I think the team is very good. You have the lads, the Chelsea guys playing against Wolves, who are really bad. And if Anderson is back, it looks quite good. And then we go into the international break come game week 12. I believe it's game week 12. We have the international break, if I'm not mistaken. But this is the week that I think I'll be looking to make transfers. Because Martin Odegaard might be back at this point in the season. And one of the players that I like is Anthony Gordon. Again, maybe that opening fixture versus City is not ideal. But when I look at the fixtures, I mean, they have 3 home games in the next 4 in game week 12. And they play, one of them is Burnley, one of them is Sunderland. So the likes of Anthony Gordon could be really appetizing come that game week. Who to start? Sarah Minta. I would play Minta. João Pedro captain. I mean, I don't love it, but I don't mind it. Again, I know I'm sitting on the fence, but you know, if I had a Salah, Saka, Haaland, I'd be inclined to go there over him. Thoughts on Virgil? Paqueta to Timber. Minta. Timber is a great pick. First off, thoughts on Virgil? You know what? I slightly think Liverpool defense is a small bit underrated now. When I say they're slightly underrated, I mean the assets of Van Dijk is great. We always know he can come up with a header, like we've seen. Also, he's great for DEFCON. And also, as poor as Liverpool have been as a defence, the fixtures are good. And now with Conor Bradley likely getting the minutes, with Frimpong being out, I wonder is Conor Bradley going to arise as an option? Again, the fixture is not great, and Liverpool have it in the next 3 from a defensive point of view. But again, it are these cagier games where Liverpool might keep some clean sheets. Again, we've seen Arsenal do it at the start of the season. Royce wasn't pictured in training either. I don't think it means anything. That's fair enough, Ahmed. I get it. But again, you want your players pictured in training, ideally. Especially if you're considering captaining them. Alright, let's do another scroll on Twitter, lads. See what's going on. See if we can get anything before the deadline is up. Again, we'll keep on scrolling. Is anyone going to watch the game tonight? Leeds West Ham. I know it sounds boring on paper, but I actually think it's going to be a great game. And Nuno will be able to try experiment and actually try show give Leeds a game. I've got a dilemma this week. I have I have to bench one of Kudus, Minta, Volomade or Mateta. Who would you bench? I would be inclined to bench either Minta or Mateta. I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm not going to give you a definitive answer of what I do. Yeah, no, Thiago is definitely a good option. For sure. You know who's also a good option? Nathan Collins. Again, not this game week, but from 10 onwards, I quite like Collins. Good for DEFCON. Always comes up with the odd goal. Liam says he'll be watching. Roden clean sheet and header, 15-pointer. Yeah, that would be ideal. Bench one of Bruno, Ndiaye, Caicedo and Reinders. I would be benching Reinders. Thank you, Shai. No worries. Minta scores or assists against United. Yeah, I feel like you have to play Minta versus United. Because he's also really good at DEFCON for a midfielder. He works his arse off when he's pressing. Yeah, it's interesting the Friday deadline. Of course, we get more information What was I going to say? I have 5 free transfers, says Sakib. He says, I need to decide between Saka and Enzo, 0.1 short of both. Best alternative for each of them. The best alternative for Saka, I'm going to say Anthony Gordon. I know it is quite a punt, but I do kind of like Gordon. I fancy him over the next few games. In terms of Enzo, I actually really... lads, I know these players have not been up for it, but Anderson for Forest. 5.3 now. Thank you for subscribing, Rowan. But yeah, good luck this game week, Chime. May your arrows be green and your seats be black. I love that, John. Thank you. Start Reinders or Xavi, or get some or Enzo in for one of them. Start Reinders or Xavi. I would start Xavi. Again, Xavi has been really poor. We're waiting for a good performance. I would get Enzo Joven in for one of them, is the answer. But I also wouldn't mind playing Xavi for Everton away. But you're going to want Enzo, I would say, later down the line anyway. Will Mark Guy start? I mean, I can't give you an answer. I'm going to say yes because I'm starting him. I'm hopeful of 60 minutes. Even if he doesn't start, I want to say he's going to get 45 off the bench before Liam Delap comes back. In Mbeumo or Saka? Saka without a doubt. Sell Salah for Gakpo and upgrade third striker to Ekitike. Let me actually play around with that. Okay, so let's say in theory, lads, that this game week Salah, worst case scenario, got a benching. Well, then my hand would be forced and I'd have to sell him for Saka in game week 10. No doubt about that. What could that leave me do? Bring in Ekitike for João Pedro. That's what I would do for a worst case scenario. And I actually quite like those moves in general. Again, I wouldn't want to do it because I'm hopeful of Salah. I'm quite hopeful. But that's what I would do in that worst case scenario. And yes, I do like those moves. Would you tempt fate with a Bruno captaincy if you had Bruno? It really is down my line because, you know, United are on good form. Back-to-back wins under Amaran's tenure. The buzz, especially a big one against Liverpool, can do a lot for the likes of United. Would I captain him over Haaland? No. Would you bench Reinders or Sarr this week with Arsenal news? I don't think I would leave that influence me too much. I don't think it changes things. You know, Gabriel being out, let's just say worst case scenario for Arsenal, suddenly doesn't make them a bad defence. So I would rather play Reinders. Good evening, FPL Top. How are you? Didn't realise the deadline was tonight. I think I'm going to roll with 0 Arsenal assets. FPL Top, have you been not keeping an eye on the channel members group chat on WhatsApp? But yeah, best of luck this game week FPL Top with no Arsenal. Again, that's bold. Hello ZJ, how are you? Choymar Jr. had a bench boost planned specifically for this game week. Roden, Richards, Reinders and Dubravka. Now with the Gabriel news, what should I do? I think FPL NX, even with that bench, is quite good. That's a decent bench. Let's just say 2-pointer off Reinders, 3-pointer off Dubravka, 6 for Roden, 3 or 4 for Richards. I mean, that's not awful. Would I bench boost? I don't think so. I would just hold off for next game week. Again, though, it is mad because like, you know, every single week it almost looks like all the bench boost options are dropping like flies, and it's why it's really hard to plan a bench boost. And that's why I'm trying to leave it, to be honest, late rather than trying to do it sooner rather than later. Again, I wildcarded in 8th and I could have easily set up a bench boost in 9 or 10. My plan was always, depending on when Salah goes to DEFCON, to bring in and upgrade my bench options. Because we're going to get 5 5 free transfers in game week 16. And I'll have disposable transfers to use. Is there any early news? ZJ, Gabriel is a doubt and Saka was not pictured in training. Hey Chai, sorry if I missed the answer, but I can afford Mark Gee. Is it worth transferring him in or just rolling? I would just roll, JC. Who should I get for Watkins? I have Haaland and Pedro already. Maybe Nick Voltemade? Or Mateta, of course. Hi, I'm top 5k. Thank you. Again, don't thank me. It's all up to you, man. Even Shy, I'm on wildcard. Interesting. I'm not seeing any wildcard 9s. And have my usual benching dilemmas. Which two would you play out of Sar, Minoz, Caicedo, Krupi? I would play Minoz and Caicedo. Yeah. Haaland or Semenyo? Haaland. Hey, should I toast on DCL captain? Am I going crazy? Yes, you are going crazy. What are my thoughts on it? Very, 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 very bold. Which tree should I start out of? Guy, Reinders, KDH, Porro, and Diouf? I would be starting Mark Guy, Porro, and probably Malik Diouf. And guess what? I've bought. Would you bench them? No, I wouldn't bench them. I would play them anyways, EJ, for sure. JM says, yes, sure. I'm thinking of transferring in Gakpo for Eze as a differential. What are your thoughts? I mean, I don't mind it, but again, it's just not a move that I love. I feel like Eze, you know, he hit the bar again in the Champions League. He's playing against his old team, and I feel like it's a good fixture for him. Why are you starting Mark Guy for Sarr? Because Arsenal are the best defence in the league, whereas Mark Guy, I think he might get 60 minutes this game week. Start Lyle Foster or Tajani Reinders? I think I would start Tajani Reinders. That one's close though, Jose. Would you bench boost Dubravka, Minta, Diouf, Esteve? Yes, I would. Okay, let's go back on the timeline, lads, and see if we can get anything. Is Zach out for Voldemade or Ekitike? I mean, I love the idea of Ekitike, lads. I'm not going to lie. Alright, let's scroll away, lads. See if we can get anything. Alright, nothing again. How are we fixed for next game week? I think I really like my team for next game week. Again, this is not my team. Reset game week. Here would be my team for game week 10 if I roll this week. I mean, I feel like that looks great. Jose says, I'm going to go Foster and hope not to be punished. Jose, it is really close though. I don't think there is a definitive answer. Hi, Chai. Is Reinders for Ishmael Assar a poor move this week? Yes. But my team value and 1 star from game week 10. I think you can still be patient, Reese, in my opinion. I think I'd be more than happy to wait it out. Petrovic or Dubravka to start? Probably Petro. Due to Sean Dyche, I don't think they're going to be clicking straight away from an attacking point of view, even though I know they won. Minta or Sarr to start? And who to captain? I would be starting Minta, and I'd be captain Haaland if I was you. Eddie Casey says, who would you buy in? Minoz for Richards and start Minoz and play 4 and bench Reinders? I don't know what your question is there, Eddie, because it is quite confusing. Alright, let me do a poll, lads. I'm intrigued to see what you think in chat. Let's do a poll. I'm assuming most are on Haaland captain. Let's do Haaland, Salah. Let's do Chelsea asset, and then one more in other. Or actually, I'm just gonna do other for. Yeah, hold on. So game week 9 captaincy poll, lads. Do vote away. Who to buy for Romero? Good question. Can you stretch to Danny Munoz? Do you have any value? Yo, Chad, do you have some arguments to go with Salah? Have him and Haaland, but scared after last week. I don't think there's anything to be scared of. I thought Salah had enough to return last game week. I mean, Gakpo hit the post twice off Salah assists, and Salah missed a big chance. So I mean, I think the bench in midweek was probably ideal for a Salah owner in my eyes. I have a bit of a dilemma at the back, says Orn. Alderete, Anderson, and Gabriel use transfer and bench defender for cover. I would just play Gabriel, Orn, to be honest. Opinions on Ugochukwu. He's been playing in the 10 recently for Burnley and has got back-to-back goals. I mean, I don't mind it as an 8th attacker. But to start every week, I don't love it. Will Krupi start? I think so, yeah. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Here, there's no way that only 60% of chat is going with Haaland. Can only pop in as I'm going to the gym. Good stuff, George. Go get those gains, my bro. Good luck, Shy, and best luck, everyone. Absolutely. I mean, it's not necessarily, I would say, trust with Salah. It's just, he's still Salah in my eyes. I don't think just because he's been playing poorly that he can't turn it on. You know, at the end of the day, he's not got a big injury or anything. So, as long as he's getting 90 minutes for that Liverpool attack, I'm happy. Well, I say 90. 85 in and around. What are your thoughts on Nick Voldemare, captain? I don't love it. What's the player you think will benefit the most FPL wise when AFCON comes? I'm going to say Sesko. That's a good question. Grizz, just to answer your question to stop you spamming, Mbeumo or Eze? I'm going to say Mbeumo. What player will benefit most when AFCON comes? I think it is going to be Ekitike. I think he has to play in this team when there's no Salah. Got 5.1 considering Chalobah. Thoughts? I don't mind that, John Ross. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Again, I don't love it particularly, but yeah, Ekitike. I'd love to have Ekitike in my FPL team. He's a really fun punt. Kevin says, do I start Reinders or Cullen? I mean, there's very little in that, I think. Kevin, if you feel inclined to start Cullen, I'd start Cullen. Overall, though, I would start Reinders. I mean, I look at it as a rest. Volamade will benefit from AFCON. Wissa out. Yeah, Maximilian, sure, but, he's already benefiting from Wissa being out. And I'm unsure if how Wissa will come back from this injury. He's quite old now. Hi, should I 2 free transfers in the bank, but not happy with the team? Should I go for wildcard? Yeah, I mean, it is quite late to do a wildcard with 50 minutes to the deadline, so I think I would hold off personally. That's just me. Let's do another little scroll on the timeline, lads, see what's going on. Where are we? By the way, lads, I am doing a stream on Fantasy Football Scout on Sunday as usual. Do check me out. It is a solo pod this time around because Janny is not around. How are only 60% of my chat on Haaland? There's no way 30% of you guys are on captaincy on Salah. There's just no way. Surely not. And if you're going on him because of me, I mean, you definitely shouldn't listen to me because what do I know? What do I know, lads? Don't really love holding Guardiola after last week's benching. Just uncertain who to bring in. Is Connor Bradley / Trippier valid short term? I think Connor Bradley is definitely an option short term. Thanks, Shy. Wildcard for the next 40 minutes. Love that, Brendo. You think Mark Guy starts? I think so, yeah. I do think so. I'd be surprised if he doesn't, lads, honestly. I think your chat attracts more Salah owners. Yeah, that's fair, Tig. Everyone else is playing a completely different game financially without him. Yeah, and I wonder, does that make people not want to tune in because, they look at my team and they go, I can't correlate to you. Yeah, that's an interesting question. But then again, there are 60% of people who are still on Haaland captain. I feel like anyone that owns Salah this week is looking to captain him, because if you own him, that means you still believe in him somehow. I still have Salah and have decided to captain him as a differential pick for this week. Lads, I don't even think, I look at it for what it is. I look at Salah is playing versus Brentford away this week. Haaland is playing against Aston Villa away. Haaland has been on the best form of his life, and yes, he can easily score against Villa. What's the likelihood he gets 2+ goals versus Villa? Unlikely. Villa are on 5 on the bounce, and Unai Emery is good versus top 6. Versus Salah, who's been really poor but has the better fixture, and gets the more points if he gets a clean sheet and more points for a goal. And he's still getting a minute, so there's no issue there for me. Yeah, exactly, Ola. I feel like this fixture is much tougher and it will be close. I understand it is hard not to back Haaland because we play the game with emotion, but again, when these opportunities arise, how I make the decision is I take the week for how it is. And I feel like, if I take all the parameters for this singular game weekend, not use the emotion from the last few games, I feel like I prefer Salah. Bench boost Esteve, Kudus, Van de Ven. Yes, I would. Ekitike or Volnamade? Ekitike. Man, Ekitike is scary, lads. I genuinely think he could be a top striker. I'm not going to use the word world class because there are very few world class players in my eyes. And by the way, this is a talking point for chat. So, as you know, I do have a members WhatsApp group, and we're talking in it about Arsenal's world class players. Before I give you my thoughts, actually no, let me just tell you what I think. And the question is, how many world class players do Arsenal have? Let me do a poll. Let's do 1 plus. Alright, let's do 1, 2, or 2 plus. Alright? And name them in chat. I'm intrigued. I'm not actually going to tell you what I think because I want to see how this poll goes. I don't want to, not that it will, but I don't want to swing the poll. If you choose 2 plus, tell me who the 2 are. I need to know who the 2 plus are. Praffel says he hates them all. 16 votes so far. Get them in, lads. And by the way, while you're down there, hit the like button and subscribe. We have 45 minutes until the deadline. Again, thank you so much to all of you who have been tuning in. Also, closing in on 10k subs sooner rather than later, lads. We're going to get there. I have no doubt. Let's see if we can have a good game week. Derek says 0. Derek has no chance voting on that. Gabriel Saliba Rea. Gabriel Saka Royce. Bana says for me, Saka, Gabriel, Rea, Royce. And can be convinced on Timber and Saliba. So you're telling me you think Arsenal have 6 world class players? Come on, Bana. Surely not. Saka, Saliba, Rea. I only think Saka's the only one who makes a difference if he's injury free. Leardy says Gabriel and Timber. Come on, lads. Surely not. Well, I'm going to tell you what I think. And just hear me out before you hate on me. I'm going to say the answer is 2 for sure. Maybe 3. Right, first off, Bukayo Saka is definitely world class. And again, it really depends on how you define world class. But for me, Saka, definitely. And I think he has been for about 2 seasons now. I always feel like watching Saka, he can almost do what he wants. He's really efficient. What I think Saka is great at is holding the ball. I know it sounds so simple, but he knows when to go down, use his body. And he's just so good at cutting in and maybe just laying it off. It's just simple things, but he does it so effectively. So Saka without a doubt. Royce for sure without a doubt is world class for me. I don't think I have to think twice about that for me. Royce has a lot to his game as well. It's not just, a DM. He brings almost like an 8. And he's quite big physically. It says a lot when a DM is on corners, if you know what I mean. He's technically quite good, and I that's rare for a big guy like him. Interesting though. Majority of chat thinks 2+. Stoke City FC. Oh, brilliant. Anyway, keep voting on that poll. We'll come back to that in just a second. Get your queries in. Name a better right back than Timber. Well, I don't see. We're going off this season, aren't we? Like Timber's been great this season. You know, for me though, Arsenal's defense is by far the best in the world. But because they set up like that, it doesn't mean that their players are necessarily because of the system. If you know what I mean. What I mean by that is if you put Timber in Spurs' defense, for example, I mean I don't think it changes us drastically from a defensive point of view. Sure, it'd be better defensively than Porro, no doubt about that, and we would be a small bit better defense. But for example, if you put Pedro Porro into that Arsenal defense, well, I still feel like Arsenal are probably a great defense, and it doesn't change them too much. Again, always feel like it's a system. Again, you could completely disagree with that, but what I'm trying to say is that sure, Jurrien Timber is a great defender, but I feel like if you put him in a different team, I think you start to see a few more holes than probably what we've seen in an Arsenal defence. So a bit early for me to call him world class is what I'm saying. Ryan loves the aggressive style, but do you prefer to play Burn, Chalobah or Roden? I'd prefer Chalobah. Otto Trailer says, I'm on wildcard, but my usual benching I answered this question already. I would start Munoz and Caicedo. Good evening, Vasa. Good to see you. Arsenal have 5 world-class players. Now, that is out of order for me. 5 is a stretch, lads. Come on. Surely you don't think 5 world-class players. Look, I know I'm a Spurs fan. I'll always have my biases, but 5 is overkill for me. Surely. Someone back me up here. Chybro already did my one free transfer. My rank is 9,459. Enzo for Reinders. I love that. For -4. Or Mbuemo for Foden. I wouldn't take a -4 for any of those Champions Collide. Hi, Joe. Why do you think Salah is a better captain than Haaland? For me, it's the fixture. I'm still confident in Salah's minutes. I feel like Salah's just missing that bit of luck that he usually has. He done enough versus United. I feel like he could have had 2 assists and a goal. Calafiori or Timber, says Owen. For me, it's Timber. Who to buy out of that list, says Ryan. I would buy Chalobah, but it largely depends on your strategy, Ryan. Hi, Shai, do you think I should play my bench boost if I have Gabriel and Saka? No, I don't think. I would prefer to be patient. It's only Arsenal fans that are saying 4+. Yeah, I feel like 4+ is wild. For a team to have 4+ world-class players, I mean, who's another team with 4+ world-class players? If you look at City, they have Rodri, they have Haaland, they have Donnarumma. Am I missing anyone? I don't think so. You could argue maybe a Ruben Diaz, but again, I know a lot of people won't be opposed to that. If you look at Liverpool, we could say Isaac is probably in between world class and very, very good. You have, of course, Mo Salah, who in my eyes is still, maybe not right now, is world class. Yeah, Bernardo is. I would say he is, right, but maybe not over the last year or two. The term world class seems subjective. Yeah, I agree, but when I say world class, like the players I think of are Virgil van Dijk, Harry Kane, Mbappe, Haaland. You know what I mean? I don't particularly think Jurrien Timber, Gabriel. Again, it is subjective though, and I do get it. Like, I mean, no doubt Arsenal defenders are phenomenal. Alex says, love your vids. Have been watching for the last 3 years. Amazing, Alex. I recognise the name, of course. However, I do feel that in FPL, you tend to favour these assets. As an Arsenal fan, I do the same, but think you should give them more love. I don't know if you mean not favouring Arsenal assets, because I always tend to have Arsenal guys in my team, because I know how good they are. Allison for sure. Sorry, Perfool. I just skipped past the Liverpool guys. But yeah, Allison. Real Madrid haven't got 4. They've got... Who do Real Madrid have? Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., I don't know if I would put Bellingham in that category because I think Bellingham is very, very good. I don't doubt that. But again, to be considered world class, lads. Again, that's quite controversial, I feel. Is Youngman's son considered world class? I don't think so. Was he at one point in time? Maybe for a season or two. Definitely a world class finisher, without a doubt. Courtois definitely. Yeah, sorry, Perfool. I'm actually slacking. My brain's not ticking. Sat Reinders over Ismaila Sarr. Yes. Pope or Dubravka. I would play Pope. And captain Enzo, Haaland or Volumade. I would go Haaland. Bruno to Saka this week. No, I wouldn't do it, I don't think. I don't know if Bellingham's world class, lads. Lads, shoot me down. Is Bellingham world class? Okay, this is going to be an interesting one. Now, Bellingham has the greatest PR of all time. I don't hate Bellingham. I just think... I just don't know if, for me, he falls in that. He's definitely a big name. Great player. Very good player. Just yes or no. Obviously, it depends on your definition. I personally don't think he is. When I say that, it's not to say that he can't be. I just think there needs to be a lot more to be seen. Now, top 10 is not world class because that means you'd have 110 world class players. I would say there's less than 50 world class players. If you know what I mean. I have Yockers. I can get Saka and Timber, or do I get double Arsenal defence? I like Saka and Timber. I do like Saka and Timber. Sarvi. Again, sorry lads, I know this is a FPL channel. I'm just getting sidetracked. I'm really interested. Nuno Mendes is world class, I agree. How about Hakimi? Yeah, he's definitely in there. I don't know. Is Bellingham top 5 though? Currently, top 5 is Declan Rice for sure. I know it's hard when you start fleshing out. It's tough because there are so many good players. Anyway, let's move on. We could debate about this all day. Do you vote in the poll though? Is Gabriel okay? I would play him anyway. Vitinha, yeah, he's definitely close if he's not in it. Alright, let's do a little scroll on the timeline, lads. Let's see what's going on. Thank you to the 120 of you who are still in here. Let's see if we can get any more information on the timeline about what's going on. Hey, Shah, who to bench between Minta, Reinders, and NDI? I'd be benching Reinders, I want to say. Only because NDI has penalties and also decent at DEFCON, if you know what I mean. Start Krupi Juniors or Reinders? I would start Krupi. Consulted my good friend Google for a definition. Someone who is consistently among the best in the world in their position, demonstrating elite ability over several seasons. Crypto Munch, exactly. I agree with that. I feel like it needs to be over a period of time. Hence why Mbappe, Haaland and Kane are the benchmark for world-class strikers. Best captain this game week for me is Mo Salah. High chair as a captain. Thoughts? I don't love it. Sandeeper. I don't love as a captain this game week. Toast and Nachapong, not bad, not great. Van de Ven or Esteve? I would play Van de Ven. Lads, I almost just activated the bench boost by a misclick. What the hell? Imagine. Try Saka or Ekitike or Salah and Sarr. Saka and Ekitike or Salah and Sarr. I mean, Saka and Ekitike sounds great, I'm not going to lie. But Salah is the captaincy for me. It really depends if you want to... If you go Salah, you have to captain him. Josh is asking, is Kudus on pens for Tottenham? No, he's not. I'd be very surprised to see him anywhere near a penalty. Enzo, Gakpo or Gordon to get in. To be honest, if I could rank them, I think it's really close. I want to say Enzo 1, Gakpo 2, Gordon 3. Only difference being Gordon has penalties and Enzo is more than happy to give up the ball, it looks like. I feel like Enzo could give away a penalty to João Pedro if João Pedro's not on them, if they're on the same time on the pitch. I don't know if we overlook Royce as an FPL asset. Maybe this season with DEFCON. Thank you, Ifron, for subscribing. Appreciate you. Play Sarah Minta. I would play Minta. Hello, mate. Keep Kudus this week or transfer to Enzo. I would keep Kudus. What are your score predictions for Spurs versus Everton? I'm going to say 2-0 Spurs. We've looked shocking, but I still think we could win this game. Thoughts on Raul for game week 10, 11 and 12? Raul for game week 10, 11 and 12. I mean, I'm not going to tell you it's bad because the fixtures are good, but I don't love it. Would you still get Enzo if you have Pedro? Yes. Opinion on Haaland, Gui, Krupi, front three. I don't like it. Vasa, anyone want to answer if I should keep Gahey and Richards or switch one with 0 in the bank? I would hold on to him, Vasa, because the fixtures get good for Palace. Thanks for the answer, and those two I'm currently benching. Now I want to try to wildcard at around game week 10. Love that. Hi, should I start Roden or Tarkovsky? I think I would play Roden. Again, that's really, really close. Why Richards instead of Mukiele? Again, it's just, for me, I feel like Richards is more guaranteed DEFCON in a tougher game. And I feel like Sunderland, with me playing triple attack, I don't want to be playing one of their defenders at all. Again, that's just me though. Alright, again, I know I keep going back and forth, but let's do another little scroll on the timeline, lads. Sar or Cullen? I think in that case I would start Sar. I'm actually going to post my team right now on the timeline because I'm locked in on Salah cap. Again, timeline's not going to like it, but I really believe in Salah as a pick. When I say that, I just mean that I think... or I don't think he's finished as an asset. Let me put a goat emoji to, royal people up. They're not going to like this. Alright, I'm going to go a king emoji. People are going to be like, that's not Haaland. Isn't Mark likely to start? I want to say he is. What would I say? Doubling down. Think it's a good opportunity and trust in the minutes. Feel City versus Villa will be tight. Let me put in my rank. Just I don't want people to think that I'm hiding my rank when I forget to post. But there it is. OR. And let me quickly put a... what will I put beside that? OR. Nah, I'll just leave it like that and put a dice emoji here because I'm rolling. Not only rolling, but I'm rolling the dice on captaincy. I genuinely believe in Salah this week, lads. I don't know how to explain it. Feel City versus Villa will be a tight game. Best of luck this week. Alright. Let's post that. Bro, are you serious about starting Marquee? I mean, I've been deadly serious about it all stream. I'm not pranking you, like. I know it's Halloween and we're going to be pulling out all the stops, but I feel like it's definitely a decent opportunity to pick up on a player who started in Champions League and got an early benching. I think it's very likely he starts, to be honest. And it's a great fixture. With Isaac potentially out for next game, I could guess Salah definitely has a minutes increase. I don't know if that necessarily impacts Salah. But yeah, I feel like, yeah, definitely helps. Especially if Liverpool are less likely to rotate, if you know what I mean. With Isaac in the team, Slot has a headache with whether or not he plays Ekitike when he's making subs. It disrupts the flow of the game. With Ekitike definitely starting, you'd like to hope that there's a bit more flow. What I'm interested to see what happens with is Florian Wirtz, whether or not he starts. Would you start Sarr or transfer? I mean, I would start Sarr in that case. I would not transfer him out without a doubt. I definitely wouldn't. I'm on wildcard. Do I get Gabriel? I still feel like I'd have Gabriel on wildcard because he's that good. Whether or not I would chase some points, I'd still try captain the best player. And for me, this game week, Salah is the best captaincy. If I didn't think Salah was the best captain, I wouldn't be captaining him. Fire. Thank you, Sly. Alright, let's take a look on what people are doing on the timeline with their picks this game week. And it looks like we're getting nothing about FPL on my timeline. That's brilliant. Oh, I clicked in communities by accident. Is Reinders to Minta a good transfer? It's okay. Again, it's not crazy good. Alright, it doesn't look like we're going to get anything too much on the timeline. We'll keep an eye on it, of course. Reinders or Antoine Stack? I'll be playing Reinders. Is Florian Wirtz going to be a differential in this game week? He can't blank forever, right? Yeah, I don't mind Florian Wirtz from now on. Again, he's been really poor and his minutes don't look great. I won't be bringing him in, but if I own him somehow still, I think he'll eventually become an option. I'm tempted to go with Jokeres, says Cryptomunch. The Glock over Haaland. I don't know about that, man. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Start Sarah Reinders. I'd be starting Reinders. If you had to pick one out of Enzo or Saka, which one would you go for? Saka without a doubt. Top three mid differentials. Differentials. Kudus is number 3. Number 2 differential. Gordon. Number 1 differential midfielder. Salah. And I say that with a straight face. That's just me though. Do you think you'll want Chelsea defender after Spurs now you've blocked off? No, I don't think I will. I've already accounted for that. Let me refresh again. By the way, 130 you guys in here. Let's see if we can get the like goal over 100 likes. 150 would be ideal. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys as usual. And we're keeping the flow going. Let me quickly check in on the channel, how we're getting on. I think we're almost at 9.1k subscribers. Again, we reached over 100 videos last week, and I feel like I'm due a good game week. That's not how it works, I know, but I really like my team for this particular game week. Yeah, laughing right as of now, up until that Arteta lied and he's actually starting. It's all fun and games, David, until Arteta is lying. Start KDH or Reinders. I would start Reinders. Just on Tarko and TJ to end zone Roden. Let's pray it works. Love that, Jose. I do love those moves. Bench Paqueta or Reinders? I would bench Reinders. I've got Gabriel starting, but have Anderson and Alderete on the bench with no one to sub on. Would you transfer him out? No, I wouldn't. I would hope. I've got Gabriel starting. I would just play Gabriel, I think, and hope. Hold Reinders and roll with 3 free transfers, or replace with 6.6 in the bank to get another mid. It depends if you have Enzo, Sakib. I don't know how much Enzo is now. How much is he? 6.7, so you can't go Enzo. I would probably just roll it this game week. KDH or Manoz? Manoz. Do you, Sar, can return although you are benching him? I mean, he definitely can return. I don't doubt that. But this week, I would rather play Guy, who is the fixture, and I think he's going to start. ultimate differential, really high upside. I wonder, is anyone thinking Nottingham Forest defender since Deutsch is back? Yeah, I was thinking that myself, if Murillo is suddenly a good option. Is that Reinders or Kudus? I'd go Kudus. Paqueta or Minta? Tough, I would go Minta. Sharif says Enzo, Goodmanson or Minta. Bench one. Who you got? Bench and Goodmanson easily. Salah problems after Champions League has put me off. Fair enough, Will. I get it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already, says Sakib. Thank you, Sakib. Minoz or Diouf. I would never bench Daniel Minoz in any given game week, I don't think. I think in the harder weeks he can get DEFCON. In the easier weeks he can get attack and returns. And in both weeks, whether it's easy or hard, he can get both. So I love playing Daniel Minoz in any week. He's so attacking. Semenyo's captain. I don't love it versus Sean Dyche team. It's interesting the amount of people asking about Semenyo captain. Again, it's not that I think it's bad. It's just I don't love it. Whereas I really like Salah captain, Haaland captain, even a João Pedro, to be honest. What time are the fixtures this game week? Chelsea 3 o'clock versus Sunderland. My captain in game week. Oh, it's going to be tough if Salah blanks and going into that Villa game on Sunday. Oh Lord. The games this week are on at interesting times. 4 2 o'clock kickoffs on a Sunday. A late night kickoff on Saturday. Love that. Let me know, guys, in chat. What games will you be tuning into this weekend? I will probably watch Chelsea. I might watch a bit of the Leeds game tonight. I'll watch Liverpool. And I'll watch Spurs. I don't think I'll be able to catch Arsenal or Villa. I don't think... Is Gakpo a hidden gem? Absolutely a hidden gem. Did you already talk about Alexander Isak and whether he should be benched? Yeah, I don't think Isak will play this weekend. Again, a groin problem from my understanding. I will play Paqueta instead of him. United Brighton? Yeah. It doesn't count though if you're a United fan. Of course you're going to watch your own team. I'd like to hope. Spurs Everton. Is Gabriel out, lads? It is unsure if he's out, but he wasn't in training. I would be inclined to start him if I still owned him. Lads, put in chat. Who... Yeah, so Sharp. We just got information about him missing training, but that's not the end-all, be-all whether or not he's going to start. Is Calafiori too risky? I don't think he's too risky. Alka, let me know where you're hearing that because I'm not seeing that. Yeah, put in your best differential from now on. Who do you think it is? I'm going to go Anthony Gordon. I think he's going to be my differential. Well, other than Salah. Salah and Gordon, my differentials. I think those two could be great. Kudos to Enzo. I don't love it. Again, I can understand the move, but this game week, Everton away versus Sunderland at home, not much in it. Kudos is always involved if Spurs do well. You're going to listen to Liverpool and City on the radio. I've got rid of my TV this year. Fair play, John. That takes some balls. Ekitike. Should I be selling Isak? I mean, probably to Ekitike. Minta. Yeah, not a bad differential. Is Estevao still too risky? I just don't think Estevao's minutes are great. Bruno. I'm on bench boost. Should I cancel? I feel like if I had Gabriel, I probably would cancel it. But I wouldn't be surprised, Sharp, at the same time if Arteta is pulling your leg. Play Longstaff or Sarr? Longstaff has been good this season. I'd play Longstaff. Kuna, Krupi, Gakpo, Minta differentials. Yeah, love that, Will, for sure. Alright, let's do another little scroll on the timeline. By the way, lads, to the 150 that are still in here, do hit the like button and subscribe, lads. We're trying to hit 10k subscribers. It's going to be a massive milestone for the channel for sure. Morgan Rogers. God. Morgan Rogers. He's a blast from the past. How many likes are we currently on? We are on 100. Just about 100. By the way, for anyone that wants to become a channel member, do indeed hit the join button. Again, it's just to support me, nothing special. But you get access to my WhatsApp group where I have a nice tight knit bunch where we talk about some of our moves coming for the week. Do hit the join button if you are interested. But yeah, almost on the 150 like threshold. Let's see if we can get there by the end of the stream. Get your questions in, lads. I'm trying to answer as many as possible. Foden and Van de Ven to Reese and Sar/Enzo. I don't love that car aesthetics. But I can get it. Ekatike and Sar or Mateta and Gakpo. On wildcard, I would prefer Mateta and Gakpo. Price points and penalties for me. Boom, boom, boom. Mateta in my room, of course. Salah cap, that's why you're the man. I don't know why people give me praise for going different. Again, I always just go what I believe in. It's not because I want to be different. It's just I think there's an opportunity there. And if it's not for you, then don't do it. You know what I mean? It's as easy as that. I understand it if you don't want to go there. At the end of the day, Salah has been poor. Good evening, Charlie. Hope you're well. Alright, here's another topic I want to bring up. Again, non-FPL related. Apologies for the non-FPL related questions. Payday mate, I'll be getting a cup of chai. Thank you, Sharp. I do appreciate you. Do hit the join button if you want to become a member. Here's the question of the day, lads. Again, we are probably a bit young to be talking about this, and some of you might already have children. If you have children, let me know their names. But if you were to have a child, what would you name it? I love the name Charlie. For the alliteration, Charlie Chai. I think it's good. Let me know, what would you like to call your boy/girl? If I had a girl, I am unsure what I'd call it. Or call her. I don't know why I said it. It's mad that like one day you just go, yeah, I'm going to call my child this. Pep. Pep. That is brilliant. Guardiola. Intuition. Fixtures over results. Knowing that Salah is still going to get good minutes. What place are you in your own league? That's a good question. Where am I in my FPL Chai League? I am currently 83rd in my FPL Chai League. I'd call him Croupy Jr. Tosin Isaac, Sell. You'd call him 360 No Scope. Arshavin, Antoine Semenyo. Atina is my daughter. Very nice. Gertrude. What? Takes the cojones, Captain Salah. Milan, love that. Jacoby girl, let the missus handle it. Guy Jacoby and a girl, let the missus handle it. Love that. Van Dijk. There's loads of Charlies in Dublin. I don't know if that's bad or good. Liam says Chimar. Ivar, Nicholas. Ivar, nice. Ragnar. Lotbrock the second. Jeez, that's some name. Okay, let's move on from that and let's keep refreshing the timeline, see if we can get anything. Don't think we're going to get too much come the deadline, lads, but I'm of course going to keep refreshing. 15 minutes until the deadline, 150 people in here. Get us over the 150 like threshold, lads. Choi, do you agree that it is harder to win the FPL Cup than winning the FPL League because of chips? I honestly don't know how I feel about that. I think it is probably harder to win the league. Maybe I'm wrong and I haven't thought about it too much. Is it crazy we're responsible for naming? My boys are Matej and Luca. Very nice, Danigel. What a beautiful country, by the way. It is crazy. Lorenza for a girl. Baby Defcon, says Charlie. Bench boost with Richard Sarmukiele. No, I don't think so. Not this week. If Gabriel is totally injured, as I am bench boosting, I would not bench boost if I had Gabriel personally. I don't think so. Question from Naughty says, if I've double Palace defense and Sarr, is it worth using my 2 free transfers for Mateta and an Arsenal defender, or just get Volamade and an Arsenal defender, getting rid of Lacroix and Evan Nilsson? I love Mateta and an Arsenal defender for sure. I wouldn't think twice about it. I don't think it'd be that easy for me. Bench Sarr, Calvert-Lewin, Sarr easily. Do you think Richarlison starts? I think there's a good chance he doesn't start now. I want to see Colin Moani, to be honest. Start Stack or Roden? I would start Roden. DCL versus Roden. I'd definitely start DCL, lads. Again, close calls though. Very close calls. Bro, what rank will you be if Salah scores a hat-trick and Haaland's blanking? Let's take a look, will we? Let's bring up FPL Game Week, and they can tell us that. Do check out FPL Game Week, by the way. And let me turn on my light, lads. It's getting quite dark. One sec. Better. Apologies if you could barely see me. But FPL Game Week will... Actually, sorry. Live FPL will also tell us. Actually, let's use FPL Game Week today. So... Oh, wrong one. And if we go to overall... Okay, there's a lot going on here. And I don't know where to find that. So let's go to Live FPL. But FPL Game Week is definitely a really nice user interface also. So, if Salah, in theory, scored a hat-trick, that would bring me... How many points? Hat-trick for a midfielder. 15, 2 for playing, 17, 1 for clean sheet, 80, and 3 for bonus, 21. What is that, 42 pointer? Am I getting that wrong, lads? Anyway, along the lines of that. 5, 15, 18. Yeah, about a 42 pointer. Again, do let me know if I'm wrong. And I'm not accounting for something. In comparison to Haaland, if he got a blank, let's just say 2 points. Lads, but this is just a question. I'm not saying this is going to happen, by the way. I'm curious to see how much it would catapult me up. And I already own Haaland. So it was 2 points. So 40 points it would gain me. That would bring me into the top 100k. It's mad. If Salah scored a hat-trick, it would bring me into the top 100k. Have to go now, Choi. Best of luck, Liam. See you later, Liam. Thank you, as usual, for joining me. Absolute legend. It's about time Liverpool got a penalty. The penalty merchants. Yeah, I won't be surprised. Why do you have a seatbelt on the back of your chair, Choi? So it's not a seatbelt. For anyone who is unfamiliar, this is a green screen attached. I can quickly toggle that off for you real quick so you can see what it looks like. But every streamer who, of course, has a green screen active is using a green screen, of course. Let me try toggle that off for you so you can take a look. I didn't mean to do that. Why can I not do this? I know it's not that deep, but I kind of want to show you because this is pretty cool. Okay, it looks like... Oh, there you go. There you go. That's what it normally looks like. It's just a green screen attached to the chair. And that that green strap is just part of the green screen. But yeah, if you're wondering what or how us streamers do that, that is how we do it. And yes, it is weird probably seeing my room again. Because it's just attached to a chair. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Again, don't exactly have a budget for a full-on green screen just yet. Stormzy just tweeted it in your game week team. Did he? What's Stormzy saying? Stormzy did. Brave man. Good luck, brother. Man, Stormzy loves me. Shout out Stormzy, man. Appreciate it. In my thoughts last game week. Fair play. Let's see if it swings my way this time round. You are smashing it. Shout out Stormzy, man. What a guy. And let me make sure he has Embuemo because I'm not getting it mixed up because that would be embarrassing. Is it actually him? Yeah, Stormzy does indeed play. I know it's him because Ross FPL Raptor is good mates with. Or I say good mates. You know, he actually watches Ross on a week-to-week basis. So yeah, it is actually him. Stormzy the GOAT, man. Love Stormzy. No, I wouldn't say I'm famous. It's just that me and Stormzy have had a few back and forths on Twitter. And, you know, there is definitely, it is eye-catching when you see someone going with Salah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is quite rare. So, I can understand it. But yeah, no, it is cool. It is cool. And lads, I can't tell you how, you know, I feel so fortunate to be able to showcase that. And not that I'm anything special, but my point, sorry, I just realized this is a bit skewed. Let me fix this graphic. Why is it doing that? That should be a bit better. But yeah, no, it is deadly that, you know, first off, I have a platform where I can share my thoughts, absolutely waffle. Unfortunately, you guys are here to listen to me. Secondly, you know, you get cool stuff like that happen, whereas content creators you get to mix with, whereas even, you know, famous people like Stormzy who loves FPL. KSI is also loves to play FPL. If you look at Sidemen Plus, I actually featured in a video KSI talking about FPL. Again, very subtle, but it is still cool. This video here, again, I don't want to get copyright here, but I'm just going to skip in. He showed a content creators league, and there I am, like 5th in a Sidemen video. So it is so cool to, you know, even be anywhere near people who are actually, like, the Sidemen are famous in London. Not that fame is the end all and be all, but, you know, these are people who I would have watched growing up. You know, I watched the Sidemen. I listened to Stormzy. You know.
Baby with Dubravka, Enzo, Esteve, Richards, or should I play Enzo instead of GE?
Thank you, Aryan, for the super chat. He says, bench boost with Dubravka, Enzo, Esteve, Richards. Or should I play Enzo instead of NDI? Bench boost with Dubravka, Enzo, Esteve, Richards. Or should I play Enzo? That is a tough question. I would definitely, actually it's not tough. I would definitely bench boost that. Some great players on that bench, Aryan. Without a doubt. Thank you for the super chat though, Aryan. Really appreciate you supporting. Didn't realise we have 6 minutes until the deadline now, so get your questions in. I'm going to try to get back to as many as possible. Wood out for a -4 and bring in Guy and Rhea. No, I wouldn't do that. It's 6 minutes until the deadline and you're covering some random stuff, mate. Sorry, Cherry. I do apologise. I just clocked that. My man, would you advise keeping Petrovic if you're not able to afford Pope or Sanchez? I mean, yeah, you don't have much choice. I feel like at that price point, he definitely comes in good. Bro, I'm on wildcard, says Kaka. Should I go for Bowen and Pedro for this game week and ship Mateta in next week? I don't love structuring transfers like that, but Bowen and Pedro this week are definitely great. And I don't mind if you have a plan to bring in Mateta. Because of Arsenal, of course. Hey, Chai, who do you think is better, Botman or Trippier? Probably Botman. Timber or Burn/Botman? I would go Timber. Guardiola, Richards or Keane? Guardiola to Richards or Keane? I would go with Richards. I feel like Richards, I don't know how he's not got a price rise. Why Richards over Mukiele? I feel like he's more likely to get DEFCON, and I have triple Chelsea attack. Johnny is from Galway. Good to see you, Johnny. Would you sell Truffert if you already had Petrovic? I don't think so. I really like Truffert. He's been great this season. In draft mode, no, I wouldn't sell him. DCL or João Pedro? João Pedro, but I would find a way, Ethan, to play DCL. You are a brave man. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate you. Confident in minutes for Estevao and Ekitike, or move one to safer option. Example, Estevao 2 and DI. I would hold for now. Davis says, should my missus go out and buy me sweets and snacks? I'm ill. Davis, absolutely your missus should be taking care of you. Sakib says, should I lock in Isaac and Foden to Saka and Ekitike? Start Baliba or Reinders? I would do that, Sakib, for sure. And I would play Reinders. Do you have a good transfer for Lacroix? Yes. It kind of feels sideways though, Aaron. But it's not bad. You know, Lacroix could still turn good. It's just because Richard looks so good. Just bump Guy into the starting 11. Yeah, nice one. It could be a really good differential this game week. Haaland, Salah or Semenyo captain. Lads, I can't advise you to go captaincy elsewhere when I've got the armband on the main man Mo. Reinders to Enzo. Love that. Sanchez, I answered that question already. Thoughts on Virgil van Dijk to Timber? I mean, I think that's very sideways also. Brentford away is equally a great fixture than Crystal Palace at home. No worries, Johnny, at all, man. 3 minutes until the deadline, lads. Get your questions in. Lads, my team is so differential. I'm kind of cacking it for this game week. It's going to be an interesting game week. Hey, bro, play 2 out of Roden, Sar, DCL, and Reinders. I would play Roden and I'd play DCL, and I wouldn't think twice about it. Grealish or Bowen, which would you start? I would start Bowen, definitely. Do you think Salah starts? If I didn't think he'd start, I wouldn't be captaining him. Put it that way. Start 1 defender, Esteve, Van de Ven, or Nico Williams. I would play Van de Ven. I might go Ekitike captain and flip a coin. Ooh, that's bold. I just still feel like if Ekitike starts, I don't know if he's going to see 80, 90 minutes. Roden or Mateta? Roden. Wait, can you answer again? I didn't hear. Sanchez and Wood out for a -4, bringing Guy and Raya. I would play Sanchez and Wood. No question, just best of luck this game week, says Sharp. Thank you, Sharp. I hope you have a great week. Thank you so much. Bench 1 says Johnny of Tarkovsky or Trafford. Johnny, I would probably just play Tarkovsky for the DEFCON. Star Sarah Reinders. Who to start? 2 from Gabriel, Anthony, Timber, Diouf. I would play Gabriel and Timber. Start Pope or Sanchez? I would start Sanchez this game week if I had him. Did you already talk about Isaac, whether he should be benched? Yeah, I would bench Isaac this week. No worries, Wes. Starting both Roden. When you say Roden, I assume you mean Rodon. And DCL. Nice one. Try to go. Thank you. Thank you all. We have 1 minute until the deadline. Let's see if we hit the 150 subscribers or likes this week. We are closing in on 9.1k. Do hit the subscribe button if you aren't already. Are we on 150 likes? If we are, I'm happy. 146. 4 more, please, lads. We're getting there. Keep or sell Eze? Keep for now until we get more on what's his name? Martin Odegaard. Caicedo or Foden? Foden for sure. From earlier, Chai, do you think Royce is in the 8 is world class or just as a DM? It's not how I gauge it positionally. I would say in general, whether or not Royce is playing 6 or 8, he's world class. Got to go. Good luck, FPL Tough. Thank you as usual. Let's see how this game week plays out, lads. I'm of course excited because I do really believe in Salah. And thank you, Sebastian, for subscribing. 151 we've got there. Legends, lads, all of you. Lads, I'll be doing more content throughout the week. Keep an eye on the channel as usual. And trying to be as consistent as possible on the videos. And I'm thinking about starting a new series, potentially. The best players to buy for game week 10. Breaking the template with the best differentials. Do let me know if you are interested in that. Also, I am live on Fantasy Football Scout tomorrow on Sunday. So if you want to see my reaction to Saturday's games, I will be live on Saturday. I believe it will be sometime in the morning. So let me know if you are interested in that. Do check it out. And do hit the like button and subscribe before you go, lads. I'm actually going to wrap it up there. It's been another amazing stream, lads. And I can't thank you enough for joining me. It's been really enjoyable, as usual. The Friday evening one's a small bit harder due to me working the same day. You know, on Saturday I'm fresh. So sorry if I do sound a small bit more sluggish. But nonetheless, lads, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm